All right. 3, 2, 1.
PVO. Positive vibes. This is the PVO show.
Today is April 20th still. Okay, guys. So welcome back. Kicking it off strong. We're back. It's been a 4-year hiatus. And, today is a holiday for some people, depending what part of the demographic you fit in. So we're like, let's do 2 back-to-backs. And one of the coolest things about talking to Will is that he is actually a boyfriend of my next guest. My next guest actually met through a purchase of a piece of art. And so her name is Ashlyn, and I'm going to have her introduce herself and give it up for Ashlyn.
Hello.
Ashlyn, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Okay, so hi.
Speaking.
I am a gallery assistant or the director at the Thompson Hotel for Samuel and Galleries. Been working there for about 7 months now. Before that, I did 10 years in the service industry, so I knocked that out. Won't go back. Everyone that's in it, get out.
Toxic.
Oh. And
sorry, that was a little long one.
it just keeps on going.
Yeah, that's how bad it is.
And now here I am, just on my own self-discovery journey, dabbling in art, watercolor mostly, and about to start my own podcast.
Now, have you always been into the arts?
Yes, I just never realized it. I always would go to the DMA, go to art museums. I took art history classes in college. Like I never in high school.
Wait, you took art history? You don't just take art history. It was really like history.
Yeah, well, and I wanted to do anything but the normal route. So in high school, I avoided doing all the core curriculum, and I just did ceramics and photography. And
wait, where?
In high school.
Like where? What?
Oh, Highland Park High School.
It sounds like Booker T. Like I took ceramics.
Yeah. Highland Park had some.
Oh no, I imagine.
Extracurriculars.
Yeah, no, because my high. Well, damn, there is a gap of time. My heyday, we had kids from Highland Park attending our high school. So I didn't. Yeah, I didn't know if they just didn't have a program, but that's why I'm like, whoa, this sounds cool.
Yeah, we did in my time, but I graduated in 2015.
So maybe some things updated.
Yeah.
That's awesome. And so okay, so you fall into ceramics and stuff. Wait, did you get to throw on the wheel?
Yes. That was in college though. Really we just did little sculptures, and I made a whistle, and I don't know, little stuff that they.
So did you get good with firing clay and glazing?
Yes. Oh yeah, actually we did do all that.
Did you ever get a little burnt by the kiln processing of unloading and loading?
No, thankfully we didn't have to do that. Our teacher was fully doing that part. But that's something that I would love to get back into. But that's an expensive hobby.
Art is an expensive hobby.
It is. All of it. Just being creative is I want to do all these things, but I need the tools. How do you get the tools?
I always have to explain my cost of paint to people to this day.
Oh my gosh, it's insane.
They don't get it.
No. People ask, one of the biggest questions I get at the gallery is, why is this piece so much? And I'm like, well, first of all, that's $400 worth of oil paint on there alone. So,
and we talking about canvas, matting, framing,
all custom made. It's a lot that goes into it.
And people don't value that. I when I did my show Vanity, I built all my canvases. I stretched them all.
Damn.
Yeah, no, that's the background I come from. I like pinning wall. If I don't have a flat surface wall to pinch it, I can't move in that building. If it's all brick, I can't. I like building it. I feel more connected. From idea to scratch to and to me, I'm not gonna lie. Sometimes I'll go Michael's and use a coupon and get one of those gallery styles, but level 3s. But I like building them from scratch. So art history, funny you say that because I actually had to take it. You know, I was in art school.
Yeah.
So I had to take like AP art history, you know, new classes and all that. Go through all the Renaissance phase, everything. It was always a bore for me. I appreciated it more when I went to Italy. And I got to go to like the academy and got to see the Statue of David and go see to the Vatican and see all this stuff. That's when I appreciate art history. Before then, I think it's hard to appreciate what you can't grasp.
Yeah.
Even as an artist for myself, I was like, yeah, that's cool, dude. But I'd rather go paint.
Yes. Well, and see, I never knew that I was a creative. I just was like doing the rounds, you know, I was just figuring out what I was supposed to do. And then I dropped out of college because I was like, I was going to be an elementary school educator. And so when I realized I don't want to do that for my whole life, I'd rather do it for the benefits. I was like, maybe I'm just going to stop going to school. And I was paying for my own school. So that's kind of expensive to just be doing something that you don't want to be doing forever.
But what's more expensive is the therapy you need to be doing it.
Yeah, no, working, going to school, having a boyfriend, like living on my own, doing all those things. That's like what spiraled me. But
not that, but like, what if you would have kept on that path knowing that's not what you wanted?
Oh, right.
And then you're in it, you're like, like, what the fuck? Like, I knew better. Like,
yeah.
Like that's what fucks with me is knowing someone that's doing something they don't love or is just killing them inside every day. You see it and it's like, why don't you leave? And then it's like, well, you know, I got all this set up, this nice life set up. And it's like, and that's the thing is like people are so caught up with materials and, you know, impressions and perceptions that they will stay in their hell. They will live in it happily just because they say they're in the game or whatever the fuck. If you can live a life where every day you wake up and you actually enjoy doing whatever your job is or whatever the fuck industry you're in, like if you don't enjoy, like what's the purpose? Because that's what we do most of our life is work because we have to maintain bills and all that stuff. So it's like we have to do it. So it's like, why not do it the way that makes you feel less stressed, less angry, less. Because at the end of the day, like I explained to you, like I walked away from a really good thing. You know, I was making all this money, but my time was taken. I was a slave and I value my time. And now that I'm back full throttle again, no more panic attacks. That was an epiphany. It's like, fuck, like, whoa.
That's incredible.
And so like, it makes me realize like, okay, I can't stand on I can control my bullshit. I can't control other people's bullshit or your boss or whatever. And like that to me became like what matters. And so like you're in this journey and you're younger. And I think it's cool because I said earlier, and we're taking a little break that you're aware, you're aware and you're aware at a young age. And I'm not trying to play like, oh, I'm older than you. And you know, what I'm saying is that I just became aware of shit 29, 30. I wish at 24 I would have, but then it's like everyone has to live their life and their own story. But it's like I see it as an advantage. You have an advantage right now, and play it right. Don't fall into like okay, family says do this, mom says that. Well, they're gonna eventually pass away, and guess who's stuck living that life?
Yeah. And that's why I feel really bad for people who are just cogs in the machine. You know, they feel like they have to be doing whatever they're doing. And that's something that I never felt. I was like, if I'm not happy, I'm not going to do it. That's why I've never lasted at a job more than a year, because I would get as high as I wanted to. And then I'd be like, okay, this is not making me any happier. So I'm done.
And people also confuse people that do that, oh, they're just lazy. And it's like, nah, man, like any job I ever had, I was a hard worker. You know, my working ethics were never questioned. It's like, my question was like, what the fuck am I here? Mm-hmm. Like that was my people like, oh, it was an internal battle. Like, oh, I don't want to be here. It's like, ugh, in my head, you know, hi. Yes. It's like, no. And that, as you get older, gets worse because you realize how permanent it becomes, this cycle you built. you're like, shit, I'm not relieving any stress. I'm just building more and more and more. And I'm about to, it's like a teapot that's too hot. It's gonna, whatever.
Yeah.
And so now that you fall into art, what is it that, you're going through the self-discovery. What is the game plan?
So right now I'm working on Belong to Experience. That is my podcast concept.
And tell us about that.
So it is basically belonging to the experience of life, belonging to this thing that we are all a part of, and just being the most authentic you. And so I haven't quite like pinned down my spiel about it, but it's essentially I want to have all sorts of people that come from all sorts of backgrounds to tell their story of how they got to where they are now. Because so many people get deterred because they think that you have to, know what you're doing all the time. I get caught up in that. I'm like, I don't know what I'm doing, but that's the thing. You don't have to know what you're doing. As long as you take it day by day, you're present, you're here, and you're belonging to this experience. You're doing exactly what you're supposed to be doing.
Were you always like this? Like, did you always think this way?
I have started to think it more, but before I was just surviving,
And so like, if you talk this way with your family, would they agree with your thoughts and your decisions, or would they look at you like, what's going on?
My family is supportive in a kind of like, they just see me as very weird. Like I'm the weirdo of the family and I'm kind of the outcast. They love me, but they definitely tease me and think that I'm just a ditz because I want to do so many things and I tell them all my big ideas and then they're like, okay, yeah, sure. Whatever you want to do. So it's not like they're against it.
So they're not limiting you.
No.
They just don't understand it.
They don't understand it.
And you know what? That's cool that they're, it sounds like they're like cool because honestly, different generations, different things come in the way of understanding things, right? So like you're in such you're like at the top of the heap of the like millennial, like the movement, just the whole like perception of life versus like when they were growing up, it was a very structured, society says this and that, right?
Mm-hmm. And so I'm having to explain to even my mom, I'm like, Mom, you don't have to be working in an office doing this job that's like stressing you out because she's on call all the time. She works for a medical company that does neuromonitoring for brain and spine surgery.
I can only imagine.
And so she's the scheduler of the techs to these surgeons. And it is constant. She gets woken up at 5 a.m. It's just always going.
I worked in that surgery and I know those people actually. And so it's a headache and a half.
Yes. And she has always wanted to do more, help people.
Yeah.
And she was a young mom. And so she never really got to pursue her dreams because she had me at 19. So now I'm trying to help her just be like, what do you want to do? Because she has a degree in anthropology. She loves people. She wants to help people. So that's how I got this mentality of wanting to help people. I want to get this word out of you can be whatever you want to be. So I'm trying to tell her, like, you can be whatever you want to be. You just have to believe in yourself. But convincing someone of that is really hard. You can't convince anyone of anything. They all hear their own narrative. They all hear their own story. So that's kind of where I'm coming into place of just being an example. Will's kind of taught me that it's like, you can't force anything onto someone, but you can be the example for them. So I'm trying to be the example for my family of like, I am paving my own way.
It's kind of reverse psychology.
Yes.
It kind of is. I know that because you're first generation Mexican American and you grew up poor and then you tell people, I want to be an artist. Oh yeah, I want to go to art school too. Oh, and yeah. It's like, the fuck is he on, man? He's smoking like whose family do you think you belong to? Like, you're poor, bro. And it's like, no. Your mentality is poor because I know what I'm capable of. And that's the thing. It's like, sometimes people forget what your own, like, especially like at the time, I knew that I'm pretty good at this art thing and I suck at everything else. I'm doubly down. This is all I know. And for me, I was always like, I was a black sheep. I was the social outcast. I was the bad person because I was getting in trouble in school because I would draw, like just the dumb shit, right? And then now they're like, well, goddamn, I guess he knew what he was doing this whole time. Like 37 years later, I get credit. It's like, fuck you.
But it's hard when you don't think that's possible.
Because you have to change your perspective. They don't know it until you show it. Yes. And that's how it happened with them. Like my sister, she got her master's in theater, you know? So it's not like I'm the only one. Like I said, my sister went to art school first, but I took it a step further. I went to like number 3 art school in the nation for undergrad at the time. And she went to like a state school. And so I was like the top of the heap of the world. And I realized like even art school was toxic. I didn't realize till later I was with a school with a bunch of drug addicts and alcoholics with money. Like, it really like it's not normal to be doing cocaine at 9 a.m. on a Monday during foundation class. Like, that's not normal. Like, I just thought we're in college. Like, whoa, like, what are people doing or going and like, I get doing acid in the studio and all that, but like zanned out and like, that's not normal. And so at the time, I didn't think of it. And now I'm like, oh shit, we're all sad and fucked up. And I didn't realize that.
Yeah. It's like, what is their mental state really like if they're doing that to themselves that young, you know? And
like, that's the thing. So like, so now that you're aware of this and it's like, how has that affected friendships and relations or has it?
Well, I mostly hang out with Will because I realize, you know, a lot of the friends that I had were in these, I mean, really, we just drank and complained. I mean, I come from the service industry. And so when you're in that industry, it's a miserable existence. I'm not saying that the people that are in it are miserable people. I mean, they're miserable in themselves, but like,
you have to look at who's in there.
Yeah, it's because of the environment. It's because of what's going on. And so it kind of just harbors all this anger. First
time I got exposed to cocaine was being a busboy at 16.
Oh, yeah.
At Don Pablo's in Grand Prairie. So cooks do it.
Yeah.
Didn't know that. Did not know that. I thought that, man, they always have like fucking flour out there and just rubbing and like, no, just have Coke. I was like, wait, we don't use flour in back there. It's already like just protein and shit. It's like, what? Flour? And so then I took another job later as a waiter and then I'm like, oh shit, this is a thing.
It's the only way to survive that industry. That's the thing. Like I got to the point where I couldn't serve unless I had at least one shot of tequila. Because to always be on, to always have to give out your energy. And that's what made me wake up. I was serving, or no, actually I was the maitre d' at Las Palmas in Uptown. And it was like my third shift doing doubles. And I was like, I've been taking care of everyone else for the past 10 years. Who's been taking care of me? No one.
Back burner.
I put myself on the back burner hardcore. And I woke up and I was like, okay, I need to start doing what I want to do.
So I told people that, because I was in it, right? And I realized one thing, that people that get there sometimes get stuck.
Mm-hmm.
And they call themselves a career waiter or whatever. And next thing you know, life passes them by and they're 40 and they're just, this is what they know.
Yeah.
Versus like, you could have used this time to find other avenues of income or learn other skill sets. But it's,
well, okay. So the like chemistry behind it, because you're getting instant gratification every time you get a tip. And so it's instant dopamine. And then you're around these people who you're having a good time because there's alcohol and drugs involved. So your brain chemistry is literally addicted to this feeling of being for other people that you don't even realize that your soul is deteriorating.
Then this is what I saw a lot. The hosts, like they're always like teenagers, right? Mm-hmm. Start mixing with the bartenders and then the cooks. And next thing you know, they're doing shit they're not supposed to be doing. Mm-hmm. And it's like, how did Stacy end up doing a fucking rail of coke with Julio in the fucking bathroom of Jim's apartment? Like,
oh yeah. It's a crazy world, and people don't even.
And then they leave that job, but they left with an addiction. It's like, whoa,
yeah,
it was supposed to be just hosting, dude. Like,
yes,
I seen it a lot, and I see it in the nightlife. Shit, that's even the worst part. I see people get caught up. I saw this one person. I'm not going to say out. I saw a bartender. What used to be a very attractive bartender female. Being a bartender for 10 years straight, horrible. Looks, and she was younger than me. She's like probably like 8 years younger than me. So like the way the aging, and it's like, well, smoke, drink every night, close up, go to bed at 5, 4 in the morning.
Mm-hmm. You're not taking care of yourself. There's no way to take care of yourself. Also, the only food that's available is
bullshit.
Is horrible food. What you're either at work serving or at 5 a.m., 4 a.m., whatever's open.
No. It looked like she just did she looks like a grandma. Like, no jokes. Like, looks like a whole, and it's just 10 years and they're younger than me. I'm like, fuck. And, I haven't been drinking for almost 10 years. And and not to toot my horn, people always compliment like, hey, you look young. And it's like, wait, what? I don't party. I don't do anything like that. Oh shit. And I'm seeing it now at 37 because I stopped around my 20s, and it's like, you kind of realize that is poison you're putting in your body.
Yeah. Yeah. I stopped drinking about 6 months ago now. And I feel so good. Like, my body feels alive.
Is that fog gone?
Yes. Yeah. No, I can think. Like, I've never, I feel like I kind of didn't give myself credit for being smart. Like, I am smart. I just was literally killing my brain and not taking care of myself, not eating better, like not eating good food. So now that I take care of my body, take care of my brain, take care of my soul, I'm like, oh my gosh, I feel like a whole new person. I really feel like I just was given a second chance in life. And a lot of people don't snap out of it though. And so that's the type of people that I'm trying to reach out to. It's hard though when your inner narrative tells you like, oh, whatever, that's not true. Or, oh, well, it's fun because, you're getting that dopamine every night. And so that's what I'm trying to figure out is how you tell those people that you can get out, that you can do more. But when the money's there, when the money's so easy, because serving, it's such easy money.
You're right. But you know what's crazy? The same scenario. That's how they end up broke that same night. Mm-hmm. They go hit up their dealers and they literally walk away with less than what they come in.
Oh, exactly. I was making so much money and I was more broke than I am now. And I make about half as much.
Because you would go to the bar, service industry love, over tip, shots, good times in the moment, wake up. What the fuck did you do?
Yeah, it's been like $90 a night.
It's not normal.
No, it's not. But I was actually thinking about it. I was like, I had a lot of fun in that time, but I was like, what was I really like, or was I just dissociating the whole time?
You just weren't aware what was happening.
Yeah.
And that's the thing. Like when I stopped drinking, man, my whole life changed. Honestly, I attribute a lot of the success I've had in my life to not drinking, and I'm not trying to condone. No, yeah, easily. What I've done in just a couple of years, fuck. Honestly, because there was a time where it wasn't clicking as much.
Yeah.
Because the hangovers, the loss of just timing of things, just not keeping the consistency because you're caught up in like especially me, like I just wanted to, like when I moved back, I didn't have any friends. All my friends moved to different places, right? And so like I just wanted to have like fit in. I felt like an outsider in my own city, and that was weird. And then I got into body painting, and everyone loved me, and that came with bottle service and all sorts of fake friends that just want to be part of it. And then when I got back out into doing this not drinking, and I'm like, all right, let me try this nightlife shit again and not drinking. It's like, whoa, I have more money. I have like, because no, I'm not going to make this deal with bottles included and for some other pay. You know, like that's $40 seed, but you're telling me that's a value of $400. Fuck you. Like, no, give me my money. So what I'm saying is like, I didn't operate well on alcohol. There's people that can, people that can't. When my emotions get involved, alcohol got involved. And that's how it wasn't even alcohol. It was more emotional, but
it drives out the rational brain. You're no longer using your. I
feel like
brain.
I've had clear thoughts since, and I feel like I know what I'm thinking is right, and I know there's no like lack of judgment because I'm not consuming. And I will say I've made more progress in the time I've as an artist in the past couple of years sober than I have when I was like I've been in art school since my 20s, 19s. You know, so it's like I see the progression because people get caught up. And if you don't have a strong willpower or aware of yourself, you can easily get lost. Easily. And that's sad to say, but it's the truth.
It is. And so it's a matter of how do you reach those people and let them know that they can get out of it. And
being an example.
Exactly.
I have a lot of people that look at me and they're like, what the fuck, bro?
Yeah.
They're like, I heard you saying you were an artist, but damn, you're like a really artist. I was like, well, yeah, man. Like this was just a temporary thing. Stop for me, man. Like when I saw the service, I never saw it. I understood it too well as a kid. When I came back for like a year and I was about to turn 30 and I was like, fuck that. Literally quit a week before my birthday. I was like, going full time again. Cause I had like at one point in my 20s, I had 1 foot in art or 1 foot in service industry. Because, you know, starving artist trying to get, but then it's like lines get blurred and going into my 30s, like, fuck that. That's not going to be me. And honestly, the best thing I could have done because, you know, like I live this whole, like the podcast is about positive vibes, right? So I live also in my own mantra. It's like life by design. So set up your life the way you want it. So you don't have to go through those headaches, go through these like I'm telling you, dude, once you realize, okay, all right, you're hanging out with Loyal. That's awesome. You know why? Because you're cutting off the people that never mattered. Because if you're not going to go out and meet up for happy hour or like, they were never your friends. Like people misconstrue party friends as friends.
Yeah.
I'll tell you that much. Have you ever, it's just one of those things that like, no, those were your friends that are also fucking hurt. And they're trying to just numb themselves and they want someone that condones that shit or, you know, is agreeing. So like when you saw drinking, for example, they look at you like a fucking cop, like you're not drinking. And it's like, bro, why are you so bothered by me not drinking? There
was no, like, I could never say, no, not tonight. I can't drink. It was like,
it became a thing.
Yeah.
So I started to like order a cranberry juice with ice and put a lime on top and just fuck with them. And I'm like, nah, bitch, it's really cranberry, but it just avoided questions.
Yeah. Well, now my favorite thing is whenever I do, because I mean, I have to do these events for the gallery. And so I have a soda water, Topo Chico, and lime. And so people think that I'm drinking. And so they talk to me and they don't question me. And that's the most fun thing because they're inebriated and their inhibitions are gone.
But they're assuming you are too.
Yes. And so then they're just super honest with me and open. And I'm like, oh my gosh, this is a whole different side. Like I get to see what you're really like. This is very interesting.
Yeah. But that's the thing. It's like, why does it matter that I'm not drinking, dude?
Yeah.
Like that, like I lost.
It's an insecurity.
I lost all the friends. Literally, I started from scratch when I stopped drinking. And it wasn't because I was a dick to them. It's just like, I just stopped getting phone calls. Like, oh yeah, he doesn't drink.
Yeah.
And then you're like, damn, dude, like you weren't really my friend. Like,
well, and then you think about it. It's like, did we ever have like real deep conversations?
Or how about, did you ever hang out where y'all weren't drinking?
Yeah.
That's a motherfucker.
Yes.
That's the motherfucker. That's when I started going through like thinking like, all right, well, when do me and this person hang out? Was it ever daytime? Like was it always like night? Like, was it always sunrise happening? Like, what's going on? Like,
and then you realize that those aren't the people that you want in your tribe because that isn't the example that you want for yourself.
No, that's part of the setup of the spiral, self-sabotage.
Yeah.
Even if it's not being said, I think the energy itself sets you up for failure. Because if you're with toxic people, and you're going through it and you're not telling anybody, you're not realizing like you're just in a world of toxicity. Like don't get me wrong, service industry, we need it, but
honestly, there's better ways. We can have technology advanced where we don't need servers and they can go and do their dreams.
But here's another thing people don't realize. People that are in service industry, and this is the truth, you know this, is usually people that had some hiccups in life and they're either in some shit, got caught up, can't get a job because they're a felon. They're just different or going through school, getting by. There's so many, but you mix those worlds up. Like Stacy going to college versus hanging out with Tyrone that got out and doing some hard time, but he's a cool guy. It's like, how do those worlds mix? That's how.
Yeah.
And a lot of the times that's how the people kind of veer off their path.
Well, and you are who you hang out with.
Exactly. Show me your friends. I'll tell you who you are.
Mm-hmm. And there's no way around that. It's not like, oh, well, no, I mean, I'm different from them. No, you are them.
No, that's a society problem. This is why. When I got into that whole medical world, I realized it wasn't just like anywhere you get a job at, your work friends become your friends.
Yeah.
Like it becomes a thing. It's like, no, they're my friends. But then you're like, oh, I don't really relate to my friends. Well, all we do is bitch about work. Mm-hmm. And it's like, those aren't friends. Like, and so people like that are in the corporate world, like their friends are fucking miserable people too. And it's like, dude, they don't need to be your friends. You're not getting paid to be friends with them. You can like stop talking to them during after work hours.
Yeah.
But the thing is they get so caught up, even though they like make all this fucking money, but they're always working. They never get a chance to socialize outside their world and realize, hey, there's actually a bunch of variety out there. You know, not everyone, you don't have to be like that. Or feel like you have to because you're being pressured.
Well, and see, I didn't even know that there was a whole different world of like a different type of people out there until I got out of the service industry and I started working for the gallery. Like, and then I met these light beings. I was like, oh my gosh, y'all are so happy and supportive and kind. And I was like, I felt like a beaten dog that just like come into like a nice home. I was like, wait, y'all like actually like me? Y'all are nice? Like y'all are complimenting me and y'all are supporting me? I've never felt supported. And it's a whole different world. But you don't know that it's there until you're in it, until you find it.
Okay. So we're at the 30-minute mark. As a closing, tell us a little bit about what is next. Tell us more about where they can find the podcast and where they can find you. And if you have a positive message to close out.
So Belong to Experience. It will be on all platforms to be determined on the date, but you can follow me at Ashlyn Collete on Instagram and I'll keep it up to date. Also, what is my art Instagram? It's something.
I'll put it in there.
Channeled as fuck or channeled AF because Ashlyn Feaker.
Okay.
And just know that you're not alone. You belong here. You are meant to be here and you are meant to do good things. You aren't your circumstance and you can always get out. I know it feels sometimes like there's no hope. Find that little bit of light in you and you can get out.
All right, guys. Well, you heard from her. And thank you again for coming on and
Thank you for having me.
No, it's good. I always enjoy talking to you. I feel like when you meet more people that you're alike, just like when I met Will, it's like you feel more normal.
Yeah.
And with that, that's a wrap.
PVO. Positive vibes. This is the PVO show.